This is a short video with the Ohio State men's team in a practice scenario, and part of what we're going to show is going to be some technical things and that type of thing, but the other part of it's going to be practice organization. So the OSU men are going on two courts right now, and this court is just running repetitive quick attacks, and I didn't edit the good hitters, bad hitters, but we'll see if we can point out some commonalities for the good hitters. Most of the hitters are taking 3 steps, a left, right, left footwork pattern. And the ones that are being the most successful are the ones that are keeping their eyes on the ball and not turning their back on the ball, which we'll see a couple players do. So it's left, right, left, and they'll start their approach and let the ball get in front of them before they approach to the ball. So there's a good job letting the ball go first and then backing off and finding the ball quickly and then going in for the second and third approaches. So we want to make sure that it's quick steps to the net, then quick steps off, like you see this attacker doing, and getting in proper alignment with the setter. And you'll see this hitter gets more in front of the ball and he ends up very tight to the net. While this is going on in one court, you're going to see the outside blockers working on blocking footwork on the other court. And a couple things that we want to focus on here is first of all, the big arm swing. So their blocking footwork is very similar to an attack approach footwork in terms of big arm swing, fast steps. And they work on this footwork because the outside blockers, especially in the men's game, they start in on the middle of the court to help with the quick attack, and then they go to the outside if that's where the ball's set. So what you see here now is 2 blockers working together, the middles and the outsides working together as they move along the net. And you see it's very similar to a dance. I mean, both blockers are taking the same steps at the same time, and they're in pretty good sequence in terms of where they're at as they move through the blocking motion, where both hitters are moving their feet at the same time, their arms are back getting ready to jump at the same time, and then ideally as they leave the ground there's 4 hands getting over the net at the same time. And a lot of this just takes a lot of repetition and a lot of footwork to develop that rhythm and timing, both within your own individual approach to the skill and also your ability to work with people beside you. I think the key component of this is the outside blocker, or the person as the lead blocker, clearing the area quickly, that they need to recognize the set and take a big step and get away from the middle blocker so the middle blocker has a chance to move, and then we'll close back to them on their second and third step. So this is kind of a rhythm and a repetitive sequence where the blockers are learning just the footwork and the rhythm to the skill. Now as we progress through the practice, now they're starting to put the parts together a little bit in terms of instead of just doing the footwork, they're concentrating on the footwork, but they're blocking a live attacker. And again, this is while the middles are still on the other court working on quick attack. So you have about half these people are outsides and the other half are middles, with the second group of middles working on their offense on the second court. And this is what we're talking about, kind of a practice organization and progression, where we're slowly building to where we're going to be playing 6-on-6 here in a little while. But what you're going to see is the outside blockers starting pinched, where they're going to defend the middle third of the court first, and then working on their foot movement and the keys to moving from point A to point B and putting up a good block. Now the middles rejoin this group, and you're going to see middles playing against a 6-person defense. And what Ohio State did here was construct a game where it was going to be the first team to 11. The first ball had to go to a middle hitter, and there was only one-on-one blocking in the middle, so it was just middle hitter against middle blocker, and they got to 6, and then they would switch hitters and blockers on the different teams. So it gave the hitters and setters a chance to work together with each other in a fairly controlled situation as they're just free balls coming in. And it also gave the middle blocker a chance to work on their blocking skills in terms of fronting the hitter's approach, getting over the net, trying to read shoulders. If the ball was defended, then they would play out normally in terms of the ball didn't have to go to a middle hitter, as you see there, in terms of once the ball is defended, then it could go to anybody, and anybody could score a point for their team. So they're playing a game to 11. With the first attack coming from the middle, and then subsequently the ball could go anywhere. So lots of repetition, but still fairly controlled. So you're getting, as a coach, you're getting a chance to see the middle hitters and blockers work together, and again, primarily working on blocking the middle attack. And as we build our practice, now we're putting in several pieces to the puzzle together in terms of it's off a live serve. We're working on the middle attack, working with the setter, and now two blockers going to the outside. So, as you see in this practice, we've gone from middle attackers hitting off a toss on one court while the outside blockers were working on their footwork with no ball, and then we've slowly developed the practice. And this is the thing that I think Coach Hansen did a good job of in this sequence of drills, is you go from a very controlled situation with lots of feedback, and then slowly you go to an uncontrolled situation, or a live situation that you have here. So in this sequence, there's not a lot of verbal feedback. It's more of just building on what you've presented in the first hour and a half of practice. So great practice organization going on with the Ohio State men.